All right, for those of you who are interested in taking a challenge and naming some of simple organic compounds, the organic compounds we're going to be dealing with today are alkanes, alkenes, and alkynes. Okay, an alkane is a simple carbon string, if you will. It doesn't have any branches on it, for the simple ones we're looking at, and it doesn't have any double or triple bonding. So for example, okay, this is an example of an alkane, okay? This is actually, the example here that I've drawn is ethane, okay? But in organic chemistry, chemists were kind of lazy. We don't like having to draw all these hydrogens all the time. We actually don't even really like drawing out carbons. So the way that we would represent it is actually just by drawing this line. And anytime you have, I guess, a vertice or vertex, that represents a carbon. And then what you would do is you would assume that the hydrogens are then present branching off of it. Okay, let me show you an example of why we do this. So let's say, for example, I have butane. I have butane here. Okay, C4H10. I would draw it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 carbons. Okay, that accounts for my 4 carbons. And then off of here, on the ends would be 3 hydrogens, 3 hydrogens, 2 hydrogens, 2 hydrogens. Okay, so 3, 5, 7, 10 hydrogens are then accounted for. Okay, some things to note: the prefixes for these organic compounds are not the same as for covalent, what we just looked at. Meth actually means 1, F means 2, prop means 3, But means 4, pent means 5, hex means 6, hept means 7, oct means 8. And there's a couple as we go on. So if you'll notice here, the prefixes for 1 through 4 are the ones that are going to be different when we're naming organic compounds. So let's say if I draw this one here. Okay, how many carbons do I have? Well, every time I see a vertex where I have a point, I have my 1, 2, 3. I have 3, so this is propane. Okay, so anytime I have 3 carbons, I'm going to name it with prop in front of it, propane. Okay, let's say that I draw you this one. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 carbons. Okay. So what would I call this one? I would call it heptane for the 7 carbons. Okay, so now we know how to name simple alkanes. Let's bring in the idea of an alkene. Okay, an alkene is the string of carbons that is going to contain a double bond. An alkyne is a string of carbons that's going to contain a triple bond. Okay, so when we look at naming alkenes and alkynes, we're going to use the same prefixes as before, but the only thing that changes is the ending. So instead of being methane, it would be methene. Instead of being methane, it would be methine. Okay, so let me show you an example here. Well, those actually couldn't happen, but let's say, for example, I show you this one. Okay, there's a double bond present right here. So I have a double bond, so I know my ending is going to be En. For the prefix, I have to count my number of carbons. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. The prefix of 4 is but. So instead of butane, I have butene. Okay, let me show you an example of an alkyne here. Let's say I have the following. So I have a triple bond at the end there. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the prefix would be hex, but the ending Would not be hexane, it wouldn't be hexene, it would be hexine. Okay, so the prefix here is ultimately determined by the number of carbons, with the ending determined by whether there is a presence of a single, only single, or double or triple bonds.